I have not. Now I have. I do not. We'll have to keep an eye out on this. Hey, cool. It gave us the 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we totally needed that.
Mm-hmm. We have to do the 5, 4, 3. You're mouthing with it. 5, 4, 3. Yeah, nodding.
Well, we're rolling. We might as well.
Yeah, might as well. Do we need it? We don't need it. We don't need nothing. We don't need no stinking countdown. But we will start in 5, 4, 3.
Hi, I'm Eric the Red.
I'm Rickshaw Tom.
And this is
News for the Caffeinated. What do we got this week, Eric?
Well, of the few times we've done this in this format, this will now constitute 2/3 of the episode we've done. Monster has a new drink that has come out and has been trickling its way north. I heard about this drink a few weeks ago from a friend from out of state, and then I finally was able to find it today off the interstate. So I figured, what better place than a dirty gas station off the side of the interstate to pick up something that I haven't tried before and hope it doesn't kill me.
This was Putney, wasn't it?
Close. It was Colchester.
Colchester.
Which isn't close to Putney at all.
It's not close at all.
It's a little Vermont geography for you kids.
Well, if you didn't know that, you do now, and that's what's important. Yeah. Learning and sharing. Not important.
And yeah, that's our PBS moment for the day. But yes, Monster has a new drink out as part of their Zero series, which is Monster Zero Black.
Doesn't call itself Zero, though. Calls it Ultra Black.
Oh, Ultra. I'm sorry.
Definitely. It's labeled as zero sugar,
yes,
0 calories.
The Ultra series, my mistake. I consider them the Zero drinks because it's 0 sugar, 0 calories, 0 carbs, 100% taste.
We will call it Zero for the effect.
So when they first came out with this line of drinks, it was about 2 years ago. They did the red, white, and blue, which was around the 4th of July, and it was, oh wow, this is magical. And now they have a couple others in the series. They have the orange, I think they called Sunrise, or we called it Sunrise. Or
it was called Sunrise, but that was part of the Juice series.
No, I don't know. It was, I think, our first episode, actually.
Yeah.
There was the one in the orange can, and then they recently launched a yellow one, which is the Citron.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that one's sort of lemony and not as good. But now they have this one, Ultra Black, which, reading the directions, the statement on the back.
You realize the directions are open and consume and kick some ass.
And take some names.
Well, not necessarily.
So,
who's got time for that?
So, yeah.
Standard.
Yeah. So just about 300 miles north of Chicago, nestled on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan, is the, quote, cherry capital of the world, Traverse City, Michigan. Long, warm summer days and cool nights cause the cherries to ripen right around the 4th of July. Oh, and the other drinks launched around the 4th of July. But you gotta get them while you can, because all too soon, they're gone. Luckily, we found a way to capture that perfectly ripe flavor and bring it to you all year long. Monster Energy Ultra Black, refreshingly light with 0 calories, no sugar, and packed with our Monster Energy blend. Unleash the Ultra Beast.
The Ultra Beast?
Ultra Beast.
Okay. I'm reading the ingredients now, and it's mostly the energy blend.
Yeah.
Second ingredient is taurine, and most of the other stuff, the black cherry flavor is like 7th down on the list.
Although one thing I am noting, though, if you go way to the bottom, there's 2 things. One, it says it's natural and artificial black cherry flavor, so if there's people out there that avoid artificial things because they might give you SIDS, then you might want to
way down on the bottom.
That.
It is there on the ingredients list.
The key thing, caffeine from all sources, 69 milligrams per 8 ounces, which is lowball for a Monster drink, 137 for the whole can, which is about 100, give or take, milligrams less than your average Monster drink. So for some reason, they felt like they needed to cut the caffeine on this.
I might need to fact check you on that, because I'm pretty sure that most energy drinks have 80 milligrams per serving, which leads you at 160 for...
Well, I can argue that point, and I will double check that right now with a can of Rockstar Sugar Free.
All right.
I know they boldly pronounce it. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, we can swear. I always forget.
We can. We're not on the radio now.
160 milligrams per can.
160 milligrams.
Interesting.
Yep. All right.
Okay, I was confused, and that's because the Rockstar Zero Carb in the blue can.
That's
that
your
one
primary.
that one has 240 grams because it states it right on the can.
That's been one of your primary staple drinks.
So I guess I took that for broke and was like, oh, I guess they're all 240, and I guess I was mistaken.
The good news is
it's important to fact check, friends.
We can choose to edit that out and make it look like you knew what was going on this whole time as well.
Yeah, but
we're going to.
Yeah, but we are not all consuming caffeine gods. We still have things to learn as well.
It's true.
Like learning about Monster Ultra Black, which we have not yet consumed. I literally bought these today, and it took everything I had to not consume it, so I had to distract myself by buying one of these to drink on the way home. Because I knew these fine, 4 or 5 people might want to see what we think of this can of liquid produced by a large billion-dollar multinational corporation. Because our opinions matter.
Speaking of the large corporation, I really hate that in the time that we have been promoting Monster, not officially, of course, but we've been loving Monster, drinking it when we can, and just throwing it out there on News for the Caffeinated in our past radio years. I hate that the term Monster Energy Drink has become associated with douchebags.
Well, it's not our fault that douchebags drink Monster.
Hey, they have to have taste sometimes, too.
Man, they're so fucking extreme.
Oof. Speaking of taste, shall we move on?
Yeah, I think it's time to crack this beast. Nice red tab on the top if you're into those things. I still have a big jar of them.
Well, I'm going to just do a little bit of aesthetic critique while Eric takes a taste of this. Looking at this and seeing how it's like textured, it's got the redness on the can. You can't see it right now, but it makes me think Monster Assault. At least they're being consistent with the red cherry and the red outer label so that consumers can get what they are getting. They understand what they are going to be getting before they take the sip.
And it's interesting pinstriping, but it's kind of tribal at the same time, which fucking douchebags.
Yeah. Well, pandering, you got to do some pandering. All right, have you sipped yet?
I haven't. It's got a very weak and faint cherry aroma, but it doesn't taste, it's not an artificial punch to the nose. So.
Well, I can't smell it over basement from here. What you got?
That's not bad.
No?
No, it's much like the orange Monster that we're like, oh, this kind of tastes like an actual piece of fruit. This tastes like the juicy, fruity insides when you're eating a cherry. A little bit.
I'm going to point out my excitement that as we do this, every time a little drop of whatever we are opening ends up on the microphone cover.
Why do you think I open it up here?
I think it's to make it so that the energy drink stink of the microphone will cover up any trace of my breath that ends up on this filter.
Well, I mean, at some concerts, you can see the sound guy before the band come out and wipe Listerine or something on the microphone so that people don't have to smell their own stank. No, this is fairly enjoyable. It does have a red popsicle aftertaste, so there is you can tell there's artificial flavor in here, and it's what we associate with the color red in terms of artificial flavors, but
not even necessarily artificial flavors. It's just making me. Well, the smell was just making me think red popsicles, which just taste like red popsicles. It doesn't make me think artificial. It reminds me of childhood happiness. And speaking of the flavor, though, I'm finding this to be kind of intense cherry flavor punch to the mouth.
It is. It's strongly flavored, but not an overwhelming strong flavor, if that makes any sense at all.
It's a little overwhelming in my opinion. It's not unpleasant, but it tastes like it's meant to be served colder than what we are doing.
Well, this came out of my keg freezer, so I think, I don't know, this is about the temperature I drink them at.
Perhaps it is one of Monster's one of Monster's ideas of having the proper mixer beverage, because I would imagine this going well with a little bit more of a vodka or rum kick or any other sort of liquor, as long as you don't mind chasing it with a Monster. This is kind of like the flavor that you would throw back a few 5 o'clocks with and just wash it down with the pure intense flavor, because as far as the flavorings go, that was all I could see on the list of ingredients. As the only thing that I could see on the list of ingredients that would go towards flavor is the black cherry, artificial and natural,
with other natural and artificial flavors, which typically is an assortment of fruits. Typically, for the most part, they use a lot of pear in most red-colored drinks.
I would understand that. Maybe apple as well.
In terms of the sweeteners, being a sugar-free, zero-carb drink, there is a blend of artificial sweeteners used here, which is fairly typical of how Monster does things. There's erythritol, which is the primary one, which is a sugar alcohol, which in some people, if you eat a lot of it, it can give you the explosive shits. If you ever ate a lot of the Haribo sugar-free gummy bears.
This should have been mentioned to me before I started drinking.
It's
rickshawing tonight is now going to be very dangerous to me.
We're drinking one of these. That's not really enough.
2 servings. There's 2 servings.
Have you ever had one of these other drinks and then immediately had the explosive shits? But then again, you'll shit 3 or 4 hours after eating anyway. So your shit's like a fucking ice luge in the Olympics.
It's about an hour. It's about an hour.
My mistake.
Last time I ate anything remotely greasy, it was about half an hour after, and I had to sneak into a employees only bathroom just off of the highway.
Yeah, erythritol, that's the primary artificial sweetener. Further down the list, sucralose, brand name is Splenda, so that's where a bit of that coiling sweetness comes from. And then a little further down the list is the acylmane potassium, which is Ace K, which is another sweetener. It's not as common as, there's no actual brand name that I can think of, but it's used in a lot of sugar-free energy drinks because it is fairly benign and neutral tasting.
Those sound like science words to me. Are there any potassium benzoate? That's bad.
But no, it's pretty much the same sweetening blend across the board in terms of this series of Monster drinks.
Here's what I'm looking forward to using this for. One of my standard ways of consuming my energy drinks is I've got a big ol' mason jar of a coffee mug that I use at work, 32 ounces, and I usually put a full energy drink in there and fill the rest of it up with ice cubes. So about 16 ounces energy drink, 16 ounces ice cubes. And this flavor is intense enough that I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like to have that much ice, make it that much colder, probably take the edge off of some of the insane cherry bite on there.
Oh yeah, I'd assume it would water it down a bit too,
which is what I'm okay with, because the cherry is very intense. It reminds me of when I used to work third shift, and I would put cherry-flavored Mio into the Monster Blue Ultras, because, just
regular Monster isn't good enough.
Oh, man, y'all caffeinated pussies. See, look at how much chicks I got. I'm needing this.
All right, so getting down to brass tacks here. What are your thoughts? What are your major pros and major cons?
Major cons is, it's not a bad flavor. I would like to stress that now. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that it is too much. It is not unenjoyable, but it is too much of a solid flavor for drinking on its own.
I agree. I will agree with you there. It does just it does assault your palate a bit. I mean, you related it just on appearance to Monster Assault, but I think that kind of works. So that was my main issue with Monster Assault, was it was a very intensely flavored fruit drink.
Well, but Assault was also supposed to be a cherry cola flavor rather than straight up cherry, which is probably why they kept the Assault name off of this. They could have called it Zero Assault, but then it would have...
Ultra Assault!
If you called it Zero Assault, it wouldn't have sounded like you're assaulting. It would have sounded like pacifism.
It's a conscientious objection drink, man.
Flowers, cherries.
But I totally get you there. I mean, the other Ultra drinks aren't nearly as strongly flavored, and I think that's why I like them, because they don't overwhelm like that.
You know, I will say that it does. Again, it tastes like the Blue Ultra mixed with the Cherry Mio, and to me, Blue is one of the purest of the Ultra monsters, and I like that flavor, and I like that flavor is chasing after the cherry, saying, "Wait for me, guys!" And so I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10.
I don't know. That feels a little low to me, but that's your vote, not mine.
All right.
Like I said, I'll agree with you on the flavor. The aroma, it smells good, but it's not the kind of drink you'd open and it would fill the room, because there's some drinks that will do that. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is open to personal opinion. One thing we didn't really approach was the color, but being such a dark can, you can't really tell. But there's a little. That is very.
That's
red.
gonna stain.
See what I live with? But no, it's a pink cherry colored drink. So
that was that came out a little bit more quickly than I expected.
Save the day, bacon. Where was I?
I brought bacon and
oh yeah,
paper
where
towels.
it's we got that red. We got the red color. It's not bad. I don't know why I'm bringing color into this anyway, but
You want some bacon?
once I'm done.
It might not be here when you're done.
Fair enough. I think the carbonation's a little low. I mean, even at where it is now, it's kind of tasting like it's mostly flat, which is kind of meh to me. I like a nice charge of bubbles in my drinks, but I guess I didn't mention the carbonation.
I'm getting the carbonation though.
Yeah, it's there.
Despite having poured half of it into my hand.
I like a little more bite with the bubbles. But all in all, this is decent. I think it deserves a good position amongst the other Ultra drinks. I'm inclined to give it a 7 out of 10. I think I might like this one a little more than you do, or my ratings are a little more skewed, but it's enjoyable. It's an attractive can. Looks good, smells decent.
I think I was expecting more out of Monster.
Yeah, because it's a little one-dimensional. Monster is very distinct and noticeable in a lot of their profiles. Like, you're drinking Monster, or you're drinking Rockstar. And this one, I don't get that distinctness. This could taste like a better version of that old Vamp energy drink that they sold at Hot Topic. Remember that?
I do remember
the Vampire
that.
energy drink, which was also red and cherry flavored. This tastes like they took that drink. We're like, we can do this. We're not going to do it great, but we can do it better.
I'm starting to think that Mio just sells themselves to every energy drink company, and that's where why each one has its own cherry flavor. Actually, I don't think Rockstar does. Does Rockstar have a cherry flavor?
That is a good question, and that's one that when we find out the answer to, we'll post it up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/newsforthecaffeinated.
What's a Facebook?
It's that thing that your grandmother sends you Candy Crush requests on.
Ah, fuck. That thing. I don't want to crush my candy. I'm going to eat it, Grandma.
Poke your grandma, Tom.
I don't want to poke my grandma.
But yeah,
that's not how this works.
It's not how any of this works. Hit us up on our Facebook page. If you like what you see or what you hear, feel free to subscribe, comment down below. We'll try to do this more often. We've pretty much done one a season, but I think we've sort of ironed out the kinks. So we'll keep going from here. We got a stockpile of stuff we need to get through, so you should be seeing from us again soon. If you have a drink you'd like us to review, feel free to leave us a comment, send us a message, and if we can get a hold of it, we'll do it.
Well, we do have 3 things that I've been planning on having us do, but they're all monsters. I believe that one of them is a different one in a red can.
Got to do stuff besides them. No, I mean, yeah, we need to do it, but we do need to do stuff besides Monster and Rockstar.
They're taking over. What else is there for us to do?
Yeah, I mean, that is a valid point. Even 5 years ago, the energy drink scene was pretty diverse and pretty well represented by smaller brands as well as the big two, but more and more I'm going into stores and I'm only seeing a Monster section and a Rockstar section and a small section with like NOS and
Ooh, I'm gonna disagree with you on that though, because it could
vary by store
and Monster.
Oh yes, well I disregard Red Bull because I don't like
Cumberland Farms
Red Bull.
up the road only has a very small section for Rockstar.
Yeah, they do, and the Rockstar section is always a lot smaller, which
suppose
is
it's good news for us because the Rockstar price is staying down, and I prefer Rockstar to Monster, so I've been getting that one more often.
I mean, I know we bash on Red Bull a lot, but we will at some point in the future. I think we should sit down and just do a Red Bull episode just to get those out of the way.
Yeah.
Because as much as we dislike the fact it is the largest selling energy drink company by far,
it became a cornerstone despite our best news for the caffeinated efforts.
Yeah, they cornered the market. But they also helped launch the market, so there's that.
But Monster and Rockstar have been poking through because they are superior energy drinks, much like Bernie Sanders on Hillary Clinton.
Okay, before we get into politics, I think we should just draw this to a close.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Until next time, let us know what you think, and make sure you drink good drinks. Life's too short to drink shit. Have a good day.
I hope you mean that metaphorically.